even a couple of years of retiring, people still believe that Khabib is going to come back. Now, as we are filming this video, we are in the middle of March in Ramadan, and next month is going to be April. Days after Eid, it's going to be UFC 300. How is this related? For one, a lot of people thought that Khabib was going to go and fight at UFC 300 simply because a lot of people have had this imagination that UFC 300 was going to be this Marvel Comics versus DC Comics epic type of matchup or card that they were anticipating. Unfortunately, part of that whole ordeal was Khabib being part of the card, and Conor McGregor as well with Michael Chandler, of which we are getting none of that. To which it just was boiled down to being another fight night, another fight card, another pay-per-view, and just another event in the calendar space of the UFC. But the reason why a lot of people really can't believe that Khabib has retired is because they don't understand the religious zealousness that is inside Khabib and his motivation and his lack of motivation to this world and its riches and what it can offer. And let me explain something to you. This is more of a religious video than it is really a mixed martial arts video, but we're going to try to correlate the two parties together to see if we can come up with the most plausible conclusion. Khabib believes that everything about mixed martial arts is haram. And what do I mean by that? I've explained this in my live that I did with the Dana White and Conor McGregor video where I reacted to MMA Joey's video. And I'm going to say it again. Khabib believes that mixed martial arts as a culture outside of its gym and training are haram. And what do I mean by haram for those of you that are not savvy in the vocabulary of the Arabic language? Haram means sinful acts. In other words, acts that are not coincided with the Islamic way of life. For one, you have ring card girls in mixed martial arts. If you look at Eagle FC, the way that Khabib ran his organization, he didn't really have any of that. He didn't have any sponsorships that dealt with, let's say, gambling. There was none of that, which, by the way, is another concept and another aspect of martial arts and combat sports culture that Khabib wants no part of, is the gambling aspect. Also, the alcohol aspect of mixed martial arts and boxing. And by the way, if you wonder why John McCain, the American senator at the time of, let's say, the beginning of the UFC, was trying to shut down mixed martial arts, was because guess what? He was in line with Budweiser, who had a lot of deals with boxing promotions in the 90s, and hence sort of hinted and pointed at his political motivation as to why he wanted to shut down mixed martial arts because of this particular business side deal that he had going on with Budweiser in the world of professional boxing. Later, obviously, mixed martial arts became a lot more mainstream, and John McCain, before his death, came on board and supported mixed martial arts as a result because of its leaning towards regulations. But now mixed martial arts is one of the biggest sports in the world, not the biggest sport in the world, but certainly up there and high enough for its standards from the beginning of where it had started in the early 90s and so on. But unfortunately, you're never going to see Khabib because this particular sport doesn't offer anything that is conducive to an Islamic way of life. However, don't get me wrong, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has prescribed wrestling as one of the best sports that you can train for in combat and to stay in shape. And this is one of the concepts and arts that he has encouraged the Sahaba, or the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, to practice in order to get in shape and also get ready for battle. So the aspect of gym culture in mixed martial arts versus the concept of the business culture in mixed martial arts are two contrasting aspects that I think really conflict with each other. So in other words, are you going to see Khabib still train Islam Makhachev because Islam Makhachev is still in the middle of his career. He's still trying to build a legacy for himself, make more money, and in the process also help his other guys that are coming up in the ranks as well. Yes, he's going to do that. But to come back at a sport that he's already clearly dominated and has nothing to prove for, you're never going to see that. And the reason why a lot of people have a hard time believing that is, quite frankly, many people don't have the religious zealousness or the religious conservatism that Khabib has in order for you to understand why he's never going to come back in the world of professional mixed martial arts ever again as a competitor. Now, on the business side of things, as I've said, there's a lot of haram that is involved in mixed martial arts. Even though I could say that I profit from mixed martial arts because I have a mixed martial arts channel, I have friends that compete in it, I've trained with some of the best fighters in the world, still, I can't deny the reality that mixed martial arts and combat sports and all of the sports culture in general is plainly haram. And you can have your own opinion about it. You can have your own debate about that particular topic. But most Islamic scholars are going to agree on this particular aspect. There was this one fighter back in the days who, by the way, was literally the prequel to Khamzat. He was a Chechnyan fighter named Amagov, a 170 fighter who was undefeated, retired midway into his career because he said that, you know what, I want to go and become an imam, become a sheikh, become an Islamic leader in the community. So he dropped mixed martial arts, and Amagov became exactly what he said he was going to set out to do, which was become an Islamic leader and leave this life that he also considered and also cited as haram in the same similar fashion as Khabib. Another example of this is Zabit. You look at Ilia Topuria right now, he is the best 145 fighter in the world. But what would have happened if Zabit was in that mix? Obviously, Zabit had his challenges along the way. He even had some sort of medical issue that made it difficult for him to have a high level of cardio from the last time I read about him. But he left mixed martial arts to pursue a much more noble career in becoming a doctor. And unfortunately, I'm going to end this video by telling you to like and subscribe, but also telling you that this is the same reason why Khabib is never coming back in the sport of mixed martial arts again.